Hello and welcome to Redefine Your Fear. Today I'm going to talk to you about a subject which is very close to my heart, and it is my struggle and my fight with cancer, which I am beating on a day-by-day basis. I suppose the real reason why I'm sort of divulging this is actually it was one of the most scariest things I've ever had to face. And I want to be able to pass on my feelings and my advice for somebody who is just starting at the beginning, or somebody who's in the middle of it, or not just the person who is actually the person who has cancer, but also the friends and family as well, who are on the outside but just as important as the person themselves. So this is why really the video is here, just to try and help other people. So let me take it from the top. So I was diagnosed with melanoma cancer. I had a growth on my back, which they cut off and they sent off for testing. Really was just told, don't worry, it's just one of those things. And really I forgot all about it, because actually I felt fine. I carried on with my day-to-day life, and I got a phone call out of the blue, and it was literally like being hit by a lightning bolt. It was like your insides feel like they explode through to your outside. And the doctor was talking to me, and to be honest, I don't view myself as being particularly a dumb person, but I couldn't even handle just normal words which were being said. She said it very, very nicely, and to be honest, the doctor giving bad news is always to be handled very delicately. And so she told me what was going on, and that actually I was in Canada at the time, and I'd need to get down to Montreal the next day. Now I live 10 hours away from Montreal, so it was a big ask, but hey, you just do what you need to. When I put the phone down, it was just like somebody had cut my strings, and I just fell on the floor. And it's very, very difficult to actually then to pick yourself up physically from that type of blow. And it's really weird, because I've had illness most of my life. I have an illness called Addison's disease, which I've had since I was a teenager, which is also a very serious illness. JFK had this, but he didn't die of that at the end. He died of lead poisoning from a bullet. So it wasn't that who killed him, but it was almost like, well, I've got my illness, so I'm immune to another one, because I already got my thing. I've had to endure things, had to fight through that every day. So it was really weird. I felt like it wasn't fair that actually I already had my cross to bear. Why would I be given another one? And the first thing which I really felt was, why me? I mean, I'm healthy, I eat the right stuff, I exercise, I wear sunblock, I wear rash vests when I was teaching kite surfing. So it was almost like, well, this just doesn't actually fit. But when I actually went to the hospital, I used to play a game with myself, and I try and spot which of the people had cancer, of the couples, and it was very hard. And every time I got it wrong, because I think, oh, he's got it, and because he looked more nervous, and actually it was his partner. So you really can't tell. And that's the big thing, it's totally invisible. So it was really just the shock. But then immediately you go into another stage, you go into almost like a war state, where you think, okay, I've had the news, what are we going to do about it? You can't stay in that first state, because actually events will move around you and you're dragged to the next stage. So then you actually get into the second stage. There's the three stages I've broken it down into, which is actually during it. You've now actually been labelled with this thing. You've had to tell your nearest and dearest, which is just awful, to be honest. There is no easy way of doing it, and it doesn't get any easier. I think you just get more used to it than actually getting easier, because you see the person who is your friend or your loved one, you tell them and you just watch this transformation on their face. It's just like watching somebody break apart in front of you, and it is soul destroying. You don't want to hurt anyone in any type of your life, and you're trying to talk to them, and it's part of what actually having an illness like this is actually not just looking after yourself, but also looking after your other people who you tell. And I'd almost be like, no, that's fine, don't worry, we've got an action plan to sort of get on with it. And that's a big thing, you know, having a plan to conquer something which is big, scary. That's really the main parts of actually pushing through an obstacle or fearing or anything else. It's actually focusing on the plan. So during it, actually the medical side kicks in. You've got appointments, you've got things to go to, and actually you almost hand over control to the medical provisions, and they welcome you in. You've got nurses, you've got doctors, you've got this whole new professional support team who will deal with everything. In England, they've got where in Norfolk, where I come from, they have a great thing called Macmillan.co.uk, and they're brilliant. They are the support system to which actually goes along. It's all funded by charities, but they were superb. So you actually are being brought. You're on a process. You're on a process, and you're going through it. So it's really weird, and this to this day is very strange. I didn't actually at any time feel unwell, which is really weird, because there you are with this very serious illness, and actually I wasn't sick. I didn't come out in different colours, or I didn't have a fever. The sort of things you normally go to your doctor or to the hospital for, I didn't have them. So I almost felt like a bit of a fraud when I was in the hospital, because I was like, well, I'm fine, you know. But actually, I wasn't. I think it was just part of my body shutting off areas where it was just too scary to go. And so at that point there, you really are into the waiting game, and that for me was the worst. It was waiting between each individual thing. So you go and have some blood tests, and then you have to wait for the results, and then after that there would be some more things, and the waiting really was the worst time, because it was not the physical side where I really struggled, it was the mental. That's when the sleepless nights start, that's when the nightmares start, and that's when actually you have to really concentrate on actually your mental stability. What I used to envision was a wall, and I used to almost envision myself holding these walls up, and they were the walls to actually the outside, to actually stop myself from falling apart. Now, a few times actually the walls crashed in and I did fall apart, but to be honest, it was only really because my energy was being focused on those things, to try and keep the outside world and keep the mask, to actually to try and keep a front to the world. Because to be honest, people, when they ask you how you're doing, they don't really want to know your life story. They just want to know, oh fine, yeah, okay. They don't really it's like, you really want to know? Okay, let me stop you here, let me talk to you. People don't want that. So you almost have to develop this mask, this persona, to help you cope, because it's one of those things where actually if you put enough energy into it, you actually start almost to believe your own hype. Now, I know it's a simple psychiatrist trick, but it works. So it worked for me on those type of things. So